In order to find the interval for which you're decreasing, you first must find the derivative. So when I take the derivative of this, I get this in red. Then you want to find out critical numbers. So you set the numerator and the denominator of the derivative equal to 0. So 2x, set equal to 0, that'd be 0. X squared minus 1, solve that, you get plus or minus 1. The reason I don't worry about ln2 is ln2 is a constant. It's like 5 or pi. So you don't really have to worry about setting that equal to 0 because it's a number. So some people get confused and try to set that equal to 0 and it confuses them. That's just a number. Don't worry about that when finding critical numbers. It's a constant. Anyways, so my critical numbers are 0, positive, negative, 1. All right, now we got to think of domain because logs have domain issues. Logs, what we know about logs is what's inside of a log must be positive. You can't have zeros inside of this log and you cannot have negatives. So what's inside must be positive. And when I solve that, I realize, oh, my domain or values I can plug in are going to be less than negative 1 and greater than 1. Okay, so those are the only values I can actually even plug into here. If I plug in 0, which is a critical number, into this function, I get an error, an extraneous solution. So 0 I can actually ignore because it's not in my domain. So all I really got to worry about, if negative 1 and 1 are my critical numbers, and they're the edges of my possible values to plug in, all we have to do is check each interval out here. You don't have to check the inside because the function doesn't even have values in between these. So we make our little table here to kind of help us visualize. You might not have to make a table. And then what I do is I plug a value on each side of 1 and negative 1. I chose negative 2 and positive 2. I plug it into my derivative and I try to find the slope. So when I plug in negative 2 to this red function right here, I get negative. Now, if you think about it, all you care about is positive or negative. So if you notice, okay, negative, that'd be negative on top, plug the negative in, when you do the math, this becomes a positive on bottom. That's just a constant, you can ignore that basically. And so this is going to be negative, which means it's going downhill, which is decreasing. So we know for sure values on this side of negative 1 are decreasing. When we plug in 2 to this, you can see the work right here, it becomes out positive, which means it's increasing. The question's asking for decreasing, so it's on this interval right here. This one's increasing, and these values don't exist. It's important to check values, your domain, to see if values don't even work. And logs, square roots, fractions are where you have to worry about the domain. Think about the domain to make sure you're not checking places that don't even work in the original function. But first find critical numbers. All right, those are your breakpoints. Check values on your critical numbers, and then make sure you actually answer the question. Look for decreasing. Sometimes I make a mistake of answering increasing. Wait, shoot, oh, that one decreasing. Shoot, messed up. You got to make sure you answer the question it's asking for. Alrighty, good luck.